Peace, love, and power to those of us who's ready to stand up for truth, justice, spirituality, African spirituality, and economical development and the healing of our people. This is Humam Abdulmalik once again, as we go on another revolution around the sun, and also a revolution within our spirits and souls, as we grow and develop into the essence of who we are as individuals and connected to the collective understanding or the spiritual connection, the synergy, the frequency and the vibrations that hold us together under the divine decree of development holistically. And in this period of time, we must come together on a frequency of healing. We got to change our speech, our thinking, our hearts, our visions, everything. We got to overcome this criminal mentality that we have. That's the way that we can make it in life, or that's the way we eat and this and that. We have to somewhat be humble and live a life of humility. It doesn't change who you are, the warrior you may be in, to make up your character. None of that change. And us unifying on the principle of Kwanzaa every day. Whatever principle you want to partake of today, you do that. On this day of Black history, or African-centric history, or melanated history, whatever history or name or label you want to give it, just like whatever religion, institutionalized religion you may practice, whatever you want to call the creator, do that. But we have to unify as Black people. I can say Black because Black, back in ancient Akabulan, on the continent of Akabulan, they say that Black land, that was Egypt called, or Ethiopia, the Black land, the lands of the Black. So I can say that, even though it ain't like on the maps or anything like that. But we are melanated people, not just, let's say that, just to identify us in this paradigm that we are in. I want to say that we got to do this wholeheartedly, especially in this political climate. And I'm getting another frequency and vibration from brothers, something I never heard before. I said that Trump might be cool, but in my perspective, I can't say that. That's why I say we must just be observant, watchful of this climate that we're in, because it's about survival. And we've been surviving all the way up to this time, and it's not a time to get foolish. And, like integration, we part of the system now. The system works now. It's really an illusion that we got to overcome and establish a reality, a true reality based on the facts and substance of who we are as a people, of the original people on the planet Earth, the indigenous and the aborigine, all over. And we got to look at the nature of the people that we're dealing with, the hypocrisy that they deal with other people. Just look at Australia. Look at the aborigine that was in Australia. Look at them now. Look at their population. Look at, Basil, the picture is that way because I have it that way. Salam alaikum. I put it that way by being created, because I'm original. and my creativity give me that slant like that. Thank you though for being so observant. That's my good brother, my brother of a lifetime. Whatever realm or dimension we're in, his pure heart is always, and they ain't laughing. But anyway, getting back to the subject matter, we gotta just be of one accord. And wa alaikum salam, brother. We just gotta be in one accord with our development, our growth as a people. No matter what institutionalized religion we follow, anything like that, it should be based on our connection in our nature, our true divine nature that connects us, the melanin and our bloodlines, just taking us back culturally and in the pathway, on the pathway of our ancestors. And that's our connection. Like Malcolm said, they're not killing us because we're a Muslim, Christian, or Jew. They're killing us because we're black and melanated. He didn't say the melanated part, though. But anyway, on this subject matter, it's all about changing the language, changing our hearts and mind and what we think as a people, and unifying on that thought, on the principles of Kwanzaa, every day in our lives, and knowing that our history, we make it every day, and it will take every day to, like, define our story. It's not confined in this month going to be coming up February, 28 days, and it can't be redundant. We got to go beyond, the great icons of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and all that, in our modern times. We got to go beyond the 2016 paradigm to understand who we are, who we really are. We got to go black to the building of the pyramids. Go back to the Amaleks in New Mexico, the big heads that's down there that they dig up. And who do they look like? Represent or resemble us. Just like all the pictures and statues that's in ancient or in modern day Egypt, modern day Egypt. Who do they look like? Who do they resemble? Us. Every time they dig something, grave diggers are grave thieves. They trying to find something that could relate to their story, because their story is based on his lies. His lies is not history. His lies is a mystery of them that stole everything from us and then say it's them. Math, science, and everything. You don't hear them talking about Imhotep, a multi-genius. You hear them talking about other people. He was the father of medicine. They say what his name, Hippocrates or something like that. But the Greeks went into ancient Kemet and stole all that stuff. We got to start teaching our youth the truth so that they could be connected to our culture, color, ethnic group. I'll put it that way so we don't have any conflict of words with, people that say we're not a color, we're not this, we're not that. We are spiritual beings, and we're connected as spiritual beings. We're the original people on the planet Earth that everybody come from. So we can't be just confined in 2016. We have to remember it's not a sheep, not to. Yeah, I hear you, brother. This is Basil having an input. He said we have to remember it's a lot of sheep and not many shepherds. His story instead of my story. Correct. Our story. Our story is based on truth. His story is based on his lies. And his lies is based on stealing our story. Then make our story really a mystery. Because they got so much information under the Vatican pertaining to us that they stole from the underground chambers in those temples in ancient Kemet or storage places or whatever they may have been. They put them in a museum, just like they're trying to get us in a museum, especially our black males, because I know, what, 2 or 3 years, 4 or 5 years ago, they was talking about the black male is on the extinction list or some crazy stuff like that, because they was doing what they was doing, like they was doing recently. That spurred in all the police killings. It was a spurt in that. Now it's quiet now. Why? What about the clown? You know, what's up with that? It's all about programming, all about the movies they make, the Living Dead, the zombies and all that. They do that. Then parallel to that, they got the 2K, they got the flacker. That when you own it, you develop some of those characteristics, the superhuman strength and the eating people and all that crazy stuff. But that's the paradigm that we're in with these people that's in control with their paradigm. This carbonation, the CABAL, carbonation of Washington, D.C., London, and the Vatican, Rome. And you got to look up terms. If I might say something you don't know what it is, look it up. You got the this instrument, the Google and all that. That's what's good about this, the instant. You can look up a word, get the definition of it, or get the history of it. Just like the Vatican. They the ones that enslaved us, supposed to be a divine decree from them. He's supposed to be, this is the fallacy, he's supposed to be the intermediary between humanity and the creator. And he's saying that those Romans, they Romans, Roman Catholic Jews, that's what I'll call them, got a sanction, and it was a bull papyrus in 1453 when they said that we was heathens and had no soul, no spirit. That's, again, his lies. And then they came into the interior of Akabu land and starting to enslave, not enslave, but putting us in captivity. Oh, yeah, Brother Basir, yeah, all the viruses that here in the modern days from AIDS virus, the swine flu, the cow tongue, or the laughing cow, or the fly disease, any disease that come out, they've made in the laboratories. Then a lot of it they inject into our children when we're born with vaccinations and all that. So we're dealing with a demonic mindset. And in dealing with this demonic mindset, we can't just be integrationists. We just can't integrate into their system without the will to be world changers or calling and know that I'm on air right now and I can't answer no phone. So I humbly apologize for that slight interruption. And anybody that know that's up and know that I'm on air, remember that. I don't have time to answer the phone right at this moment. But going back to that, it's developed. A lot of this stuff is developed in laboratories. I know they say it's written evidence that was put out. I forgot about the person that did, but it was in one of those informative papers that put out information about things like that. That a lot of stuff is created, especially the AIDS virus was created in Fort Detrick, right out here in Maryland. So like the swine flu, I think the cow tongue or something like that, or any of those diseases, they're created by these people. They're mad scientists gone mad. And we got to step back from their paradigm and create our paradigm. No matter what we practice in life, what religion, we can't let the religion separate us as human beings, as brothers and sisters. We got to develop that healing process. We got to help our young brothers to change their language, change their mentality. We can't hustle our young brothers, because a lot of people hustle the programs for money and all that. So we can't do that. We can't be those. We can't hustle our youth. We can't hustle our elders. We got to be sincere in our approach to be guides in this paradigm to uplift the spirit of our people, to overcome what we're going through as a people. And Brother E-Baby. Good morning, sir. This is the first time I seen you up this early. Brother E-Baby, he hosts at a couple of what is it? Bus Boys and Poets. Great poet, great haiku master. He's a haiku master. But anyway, thanks for joining. But we got to change our paradigm, but first changing our mentality, our heart. We got to speak the truth to our youth and come out like, people be saying, that's why they're doing what they're doing, because they got to eat. Yeah, you can do that, but you ain't got to kill your brother. You ain't got to steal and hurt your brother. And because you can sharecrop the clock for that little bit of money. I know it's slave wages, but if we pool our resources, then it ain't going to be no slave wages. See, we got to let them know that we're going to develop an institution. We're going to develop Black Wall Streets. We're going to develop unification amongst us spiritually. It's going to be a spiritual connection between all the institutional religions that have us on the methodology of divide and conquer. So if we overcome that, then what control do they have over us? See, they control the universe, but they don't control the universe. I mean, let me rephrase that. Once you become aware of yourself, to know thyself, and to develop thyself, understanding the inner verse based on the natural divine prescript of your DNA. When you come into the knowledge of self and develop self, that understanding that you have of the universe have an effect on the universe. And the people that's in control of the world today, of societies, each and every one, they control the universe through their knowledge and technology of the harp messing with the weather, the frequency vibrations and energy that deals with the radio waves and all that. They in control of that. They're in control of the media. That's why there is mass mind control, like with the CIA, FBI, bringing drugs into our communities, bringing guns into our communities. Let's turn all that around. They bring the drugs in our community. Just let it stay right there. Don't sell drugs. Don't use it as a means to money. I know I'm talking and I'm speaking like, it's just an easy thing to do. It's that easy, but it's a generational curse, I would say. This has been going on for years. They've been bringing this stuff in our community, and we've been accepting it. But we ain't got to accept it. We ain't got to do that. We ain't got to sell drugs. We ain't got to kill each other. If we change our heart and change our mentality, if we get become, I don't like using the word God, if we get a creator type consciousness and live take on the personality and the characteristic of a creator, not we're the creator, but we know we can't be that, but the creator, like the attributes of Allah, I'll say that. That's a good way to explain that. It's different attributes that the creator has that generates the humanity among mankind, not mankind, among humanity. And in doing that, we be able to deal with each other in a better light, in a better context. We have to do that in this day and time. Not only in this day, it is an extension from the first time that we came in contact with this, I'll say it, demonic thinking. We in the United States of hypocrisy under satanic administration, and it's all by the development of the learned elders of Zion, the Federal Reserve and the IRS, all those are private corporations. And it's dealing from within the 13 families. I'm talking about people that control the Federal Reserve got enough money to give everybody in the United States of hypocrisy a couple of millions, and it won't even hurt them, but they won't do that. They want to keep us in a state of mind and a state of slumber under this hypnotic mind control to control us, to be subservient, so they can live the life of Riley and had the God complex that they developed over us and keep us in that perpetrating this system of hypocrisy. But we got to overcome that materialistic attitude and greed. We got to develop a spiritual attitude of love, loving ourselves, and overcome the self-hate that's been whatever, because it's a social narcotics, right? So we've been injected with this social narcotics through our indoctrination through their schools, through Eurocentric education, because we're not being taught about African spirituality. See, we caught up in 2006, 17 years, but we got to go beyond that, overcome our fears of being what can I say? Being a person on being a pathfinder, being a person that want to research and find out who we are as a people, who we are before the concept of Adam, the fallacy of that, and find out the truth behind that. Because if you listen to or read, you can see that something ain't totally together there. Because if Adam and Eve was the first people and had two sons, where the other children come from? Was it incest involved with, the sons and the mother or whatever? And what land did when he went to Ad after he killed his brother? How did people get there? So, see, you got to listen and just not accept everything. You got to read and listen, and the shepherds that teach the sheep got to be good shepherds. They got to be spiritually divine shepherds with the heart of our people, with divine decree that manifests in them from the pathway of our ancestors. Because our ancestors, they left guideposts. They left signals to come this way, to go that way, according to natural divine decree. And each one of the institutionalized religions can point you in the way you need to go, but we got to overcome the disabilitating ideology of divide and conquer. That's what they got. They got the Christians here and Muslims here like that. Then they got the Hebrews here, the Jews there, the conscious people there, the revolutionaries there, but we like this. That's separate. We got to come like that, and that is power. That's the power that we need. Guyland Coles, this brother, they made a statement, not be afraid to be a Caucasian bald because you choose blackness. I got to get into that right now, but not to be afraid to be Caucasian bald because you choose blackness. I got you. What to me he's saying, man, that we cannot allow this social narcotics of white supremacy and institutionalized racism to overwhelm our culture identity. That's what I'm getting from you, brother. And we can't do that because we're the original people of the whole planet Earth, and we have a job to do for our people. We just can't let our people just go through what they go through and say nothing about it and do nothing about it. If we know, we got to be the change merchants. We got to be the ones that be the peacemakers. We got to be the peacemakers. We got to be the peacemakers and not the peace breakers. We gotta be the ones to stand up for our people and be strong for our people. Because if we don't do it, who's gonna do it? Who's willing to do it? Who is willing to be the pathfinder that our ancestors left us? They put the torch in our hand. The youth out here standing up. And the elders got to overcome the fear of the youth. Because we're together. We got to unify. Because the elders, we were the youth. And we went through everything that they're going through today. And I'm a prime example. I'm talking about putting down stuff and stop doing stuff. I had to go through that. I had to be like Malcolm X. I had to be in the gutter. I had to go through that to get to where I'm at now. But we don't have to, they don't have to do that when they got people that did that, that been through that. So why would you have to go through that ordeal when you already had somebody to go through it and say, man, that's not the way. Not especially now, it's not the way. We don't have to. We don't have to go that way, and we got to overcome doing those things to ourselves, man, because we're hurting ourselves. We got leadership in place, strong leaders. We got strong leaders who are well versed and have went through the tutorship of being taught and having the spirit of being people who love our people. And those leaders we must get behind in the political domain, but because they got the mindset. See, integration was a crippling situation. When we were separated from them and had our own townships or whatever, living by ourselves in our own communities, that's when everything was like on par, even par, and we was developed as a community. We had our own banks, our own everything, but they're envious and jealousy of us doing without them, and showing that we don't need them. You know what they did? They told a lie. They burned our cities, bombed our cities, and they talk about terrorism. They try to point to the Islamic community and call them terrorists. The Native American, us, we know who the real terrorist is. Ask them Africans that they brought on ships all the way across the Atlantic and the islands in South America, and a few reached here. But the main thing, the ones that us was here, we know what terrorism is. We know what it is. We experienced it. But the time now, we got to develop a infrastructure within this structure. We ain't talking about, like Malcolm said, it would be the ballot of the bullet. When we did the ballot and we got so-called adjournment out there, we had somebody in the office that looked like us. But a lot of people say he didn't do anything for us. And I'll keep my voice still until I see what's happening in this election here. But we didn't have no agenda, I guess people also say, to give to him that he would have spoke on. If we did, he didn't. Like the Latinos, nothing against them, the LGBT, whatever they are, that whatever, for them, nothing against them, because that's what they do or whatever. Whoever he done something for, he did it, but did he really do something for us as excuse me, as African Americans? Ask yourself that question. I ain't talking about the brulee or the talented 10th or the gatekeepers and all the affluent people that, you know, they well off. They well off and all that. I'm talking about the layman. I'm talking, you know, there's a class system, so I'm talking about the lower class. Did he do anything to raise that class up? What? They got the Obama bill. They say they got more jobs in throughout the nation. But look at Detroit. What happened to Detroit? I mean, what happened to us in Detroit? What are we doing? Are we developing economical principles like on Kwanzaa? What is that? Kuka Chakalia? Are we doing that? Ujamaa? Are we doing any of that? Collective work and responsibility? That's what we need to do. We need to institutionalize those concepts in our lives. And all that real estate up there, come on, man. Anywhere, we got to unify and come together collectively. Collective responsibility, collective work and responsibility. That's why those principles are every day. And we got to stand up and, like my brother say, my young astute political scientist. And the concept don't come from him, but he used it, and we use it. And it's just don't stand there. Do something. What are we going to do? And I'm talking about my brother Trayon White, the young political astute brother who has a vision for Ward 8. See, we starting with Ward 8, but we moving around the whole city. And from that whole city, we're going from city to city. From city to city to this whole nation, then it's a world movement about unification and organization and the development of infrastructures. Because it's a paradigmic disease, this social narcotics called white supremacy and white racism, institutionalized racism. It's a reality. I mean, and see, they say, like that saying, you can't live without a woman. We can live without racism and the harm that is done to us over the years. We can live without that. We have to become, again, develop our spiritual nature and come together as a people. And let me see. I think I went through a lot of points I wanted to make all the way back to when the Vatican, those so-called people, the intermediary between us and the Creator, that divinely said that we could be enslaved. And from that, we went through the travel from there over here, but recognizing everywhere that they dig under the earth, they find us. We got to understand we was here first and going to be here last. We're going to change this thing back to where it was, when matriarchic rulership had everything in harmony and balance. We got to honor our women. We can't believe in that concept of the patriotic reality, because whatever the process of nature is still there. We come through the canal of life of our women, not through no side of no man. Naturally, it's impossible. They playing all these games with these people, like acting like, dressing, taking their paws, looking like a man and all that, and then get pregnant and all that. That's an illusion. That's a fallacy. That's playing with the psychic of the people. This like all this fear that they try to institute in our minds and our psychic through this election. We don't know what's going to happen. We got to wait. I hear people saying some good things about Trump, and I can't say that, because his cabinet makes me think they trying to really go back to the greatness of America. I don't know if it's about when they say that, or the money be flowing. We sold our soul for the money, the worthless money, what is it? Promissory note, fiat money that really don't have no backings. And the evidence of that, when Gaddafi was trying to go to a gold bullion currency trade effort in Africa, look what happened to him. That's the reason they killed him. Then they build up all these lies. The same thing they did with the brother Saddam Hussein and the other brother, Usman bin Laden. They build them up and then they tear them down when they don't have no more use for them or control them. See, but now we in America, in these United States of America, as African people, we must rise up within this system in harmony and peace. We ain't talking about no violence, but we will and have to defend ourselves. We're talking about development on the political scene, on the political front. But we have to have our best interests at heart. We can't sell our soul no more. We can't become Negro pins, walking around with our eyes wide shut, being under robot control. We got to know what we're up against, and we do. We can't be caught up in the indoctrination of whatever, the radio, the disco, the BET, the MVT, and all that, putting them things on our ears and just listen to the music, because whatever you put in your brain, like a computer, it's going to come out in action, words, or deeds. And you're being programmed like you're under robot control. You got to know that this all by design to control your mind and the divine essence of your being. It's all systematically being done by this social narcotics that's been in our system for generation after generation after generation, and we affected generation after generation after generation on all levels. Let's change this thing around with our youth, with our young leaders, and our children. Let's develop them. We got some children that's so awesome. They don't say nothing about the wise youth that we have. They don't say nothing about those youth with the mentality of Imhotep. They don't say nothing about that. But they try to keep us confined in this 2016. One time I was talking to some youth and I mentioned about 2016. He said 2016, he couldn't even grasp that. He couldn't grasp a timeline beyond 2016 years. That's how they got us. Let's come out that paradigm. Let's show them this time in our generation that we got the torch of light from our ancestors, and we got the divine right from the Creator to stand up to truth to power. That's what we got to do. This is the hour for that. So I'll say today, in your travels, trials and tribulations of the blessing of the Creator, giving us what? Yes, that breath of life. And if you up with your eyelids up, you got to get up and you got to go out in that world and be productive for yourself and your family, but also you got to be productive for our people. You got to reach someone. You got to teach someone. You got to be a extended family member. You got to drop that seed of that. We got to get to stop the crime in our community. We got to stop the killing in our community. We got to start loving in our community. We got to start healing in our community. I mean, we ain't been exclusive of everybody else, but we need to do that because we've been the topic of all these ailments in the world. I mean, a lot of us get through the nooks and crannies because we're more disciplined. But Ray Charles say, ain't none of us free until all of us free. And I accept that. I'm with that. Because my feelings is for the brother that's in the gutter. Because I've been in the gutter. People talk about homelessness, man. I've been homeless since I was 12 years old. Because I was a runaway. I was beyond control. So I know what homelessness is about. I stayed in the street on my own for 6 months. So I know what that's about. We got to uplift them brothers. They ain't got to be like that. They got to get their willpower back that was crushed by this systematic system of that's what they do. If we ain't stronger, some of us are stronger than others. So if we ain't strong, we're going to suffer that situation. Man, we got to be brothers to one another. We got to help uplift those that are down, you know. And here go a concept that I got. They say that we are like crabs in the barrel. But change that around. Suppose that crab that's out, he's reaching down to pull the other one up. It's just so many down that it look like he's pulling the other one down. We got to change the language. We got to change everything that they say, change it around to benefit us. Because they took everything from us and changed. It was a benefit for us. They took it and changed it around where it becomes a deterrent to us because it's our knowledge. We got to go to their public schools or whatever, their colleges, and regurgitate our knowledge. How insane is that? Well, anyway, again, tell somebody you love them, hug somebody, motivate somebody, stimulate somebody, and be part of this movement. Be part of the growth and development of a people. Once again, reaching the high heights of who we are as a people, the original people, establishing righteousness in the land again, establishing harmony and peace in our community, in our lives. This is a job that we have to do. This is a job of Hero, Asar and Aset. This is a job of Ali, Umar. This is a job of Crazy Horse and Set and Bull. This is a job of our ancestors that fortify us with truth and the light. A shining light that's in our hearts, man. A divine nature. Overcoming the indoctrination of this racist society and do what we got to do as a people to connect with one another and bring back that old time religion. We got to go black and come back. Go black to get to now. So we can somewhat try to have a plan to affect the future. But right now, let's affect our now in love and peace and harmony. And stop the killing. That's not us. We got to get out of that. Stop the killing, start the healing. Stop the killing and start the healing, self-healing. See, the killing is self-genocide. But it's by design, because a lot of us are under robot control and don't even know it. Because the effects of the drugs, the liquor, and the alcohol, all that, it has that's the programming effects. and the movies and the videos and all that's programming you like you're under robot control and you don't even know it. So I say peace, power, and love, and development of our community through the love for each other and one another, and being extended families. And now I'm going to go to get ready for my day of trials and tribulations, of being ready to uplift that who I can, and even myself, because I'm going through some things that I got to overcome. But I'm going to do it in a righteous manner, growth and development spiritually, calling on my ancestors and calling on the Creator that's in me, that's in this temple, which is my body, and going through the purification mentally, spiritually, and physically. This revolution around the sun is going to be a different way that it's done. It's about growth and development of us, but me first. So it ain't about, with me, resolutions. No, it's about solutions. And I'm purifying my environment, starting with me first. I love y'all. Hope I get that love in return. And let me say this before I go. I'm not arrogant, egotistic, or self-centered. I'm humble, and I live a life of humility. And I do that because I love my people, and that is my my programming, my self-programming, my indoctrination. Because I am not educated or indoctrinated. I'm self-taught. And I'm well-read, because what I read is us, about us. I don't have that Eurocentric inclination, that Greek fraternity stuff. No, I'm Kemetic, Nubian, universal, spiritual, about us, with love of humanity. That's H-U-E, humanity, not humankind or kind of man, but we're the original people that everybody else come from. So with that, I'll go through this day saying, love y'all, man, stay strong, and the beautiful sisters keep uplifting with that matriarchic energy and giving guidance and direction. And the warriors, you know what we got to do. We got to be the protectors of our women and our children and our elders, as the light bearers, the torch that was passed to us. We got to keep it up. It's burning. And this is the day and time it got to burn fiercely. Have a great day. Love y'all. Peace, power, and love always. See y'all next time. Not the same time, but time you can't define it. They try to. That's why I ain't going to say, I say the earth revolution around the sun and all that, because it's different time. We got Islamic time, Islamic calendar. We got the Kemetic calendar. We got the Jewish calendar. So what time are you going by? Let's go by this divine time. Peace. Love y'all.